Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herold here on Badlands Media. I'm your host, John Herold, and I think I have a good show for you guys. I mean, I don't have the typical number, the quantity of content that I normally would, but I think I have the quality. And the reason I don't have the typical number of news stories is I got a little distracted when I found a connection and trying to like source it all out. I think it's pretty interesting. I think I can further implicate Obama in this whole Grand Rico thing, and something that I haven't seen published out there before. PJ Corrigan says, it's 10 here. I get offended every time he says good afternoon. Well, apologies, bro. Good morning to you. But everybody else, good afternoon, because it's afternoon where I'm at. But yeah, let's go through a couple of our sponsors real quick, and then I want to start digging into this because I think it's pretty interesting. I'm pretty excited about it. First up, we got River Bitcoin. Very exciting stuff going on with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency lately. Did you know Bitcoin is now a top 5 global asset? Now's the time to buy, and River's here to help. Prepare to maximize your Bitcoin returns without the emotion. Introducing River AI, a Bitcoin advisor at your fingertips. Stop trying to time the market. You can do it with confidence. At River, you get zero fee recurring buys, 3.8% 3.8% Bitcoin interest on cash, US-based support, business accounts, and so much more. Don't forget about Bitcoin interest on cash, which can accelerate your business growth too. Businesses can now earn 3.8% interest on cash paid in Bitcoin. That's more money to fuel your next big move. Go to badlandsmedia.tv/river. Move your cash to River today to start earning real interest paid in Bitcoin. That's badlandsmedia.tv/river. And then partnered with that, or coupled with that, I should say. Do I have my Trezor ad up? I do. Here it is. We got Trezor. Your crypto deserves the ultimate protection, and Trezor delivers just that. Trezor offers a secure and user-friendly solution for managing your digital assets. It delivers on its promise of robust security, providing a crucial layer of protection against online threats and unauthorized access. Guys, I use Trezor for my cold storage. I buy Bitcoin on Coinbase or wherever, River, Coinbase, doesn't matter which one you use. I'd recommend you use River because that's the one that you can support Badlands with. But then after that, you send it to your cold storage wallet, then hide it, put it away in a safe, wherever. And then you never have to worry about it. Won't get stolen as long as it's on an exchange. Go to badlandsmedia.tv/Trezor and get your Trezor to safeguard your crypto with confidence. That's badlandsmedia.tv/Trezor. Alrighty. You guys excited for Deadwood? Stronger Now is offended. I work at night, so this is morning to me. You know, I feel like we should discuss whether it's morning, afternoon, or night based on the person doing the show, which is what I'm doing. Player Sparks says, I thought we were retarded today. We are. We definitely are. PJ Corrigan, thank you for making fun of my stutter. But yeah, guys, hit that thumbs up for me. Help with the algo. If you're a lingerer and not a chatter, hop in the chat for me real quick and just say hello. Definitely helps with the metrics. But with that, let's start buzzing through here. We have no update on the on the Doge website. That's expected. I actually didn't even check the White House website, so doesn't look like there's any update there either. No surprise. Trump's been pretty busy on True Social, though. He had an interesting post last night having to do with Grassley. And then the news, you know, of what happened last night with Emil Bove being, I guess, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, he got confirmed to the district court. Let me read this quick. Chuck Grassley, who I got reelected to the U.S. Senate when he was down by a lot in the great state of Iowa, could solve the blue slip problem we are having with respect to the appointment of highly qualified judges and U.S. attorneys with a mere flick of the pen. Democrats like Chuck Schumer, Warner, Kaine, Booker, Schiff, and others, sleazebags all, have an ironclad stoppage of great Republican candidates. Put simply, the President of the United States will never be permitted to appoint the person of his choice because of an ancient and probably unconstitutional custom that if you have even one person in the opposite party serving in the U.S. Senate, he/she must give consent, thereby completely stopping the opposite party's nomination. The only way to beat this hoax is to appoint a Democrat or a weak and ineffective Republican. Therefore, I would never be able to appoint great judges or U.S. attorneys in California, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, Virginia, and other places where there is, coincidentally, the highest level of crime and corruption, the places where fantastic people are most needed. Senator Grassley must step up like crooked Joe Biden did when he openly broke at least 2 times the blue slip scam, and like others have done over the years, and let our great Republican judges and U.S. attorneys be confirmed. He should do this immediately and not let the Democrats laugh at him and the Republican Party for being weak and ineffective. The Democrats have broken this ridiculous custom on us. It's time that we break it on them. Chuck, I know you have the courage to do this. Do it. And then I think, well, here, let me do this first. Emil Bove gets confirmed. I thought I had this up, and I might have it up. I'm going to skip the line here and just go to the story of it. Oh, here, this will be a fun clip, I bet.
The biggest charge against Mr. Bovee, is that supposedly he was willing to advise his clients to defy a court order. He denies that, of course. I asked him about it in committee. I've said repeatedly in the Judiciary Committee in front of God and country that if you disagree with a federal judge's order, you don't have the right to ignore it. You can cuss it, you can discuss it, you can criticize it within the bounds of judicial and legal ethics. You can appeal it. But if your client tells you to ignore it, then you quit. That's what I was taught, and I think that's the law. And I have repeatedly examined Patel, Bondi, all of President Trump's nominees. So I asked Bovee about it, and he said I didn't do it. The other point I'd make, I know we have a lot of whistleblowers, but let me see how I can put this case. If everyone is a racist, no one's a racist. If everyone's corrupt, no one's is corrupt. If my Democratic colleagues are going to trot out whistleblowers 2 and 3 at a time, every time we have a nominee that they don't agree with, they sort of lose their efficacy. And that's the situation we're in right now.
So Trump posts that thing last night. Shortly thereafter, the Senate confirms Emil Bove, or Bovee, as he says, to the appeals court. Senate voted 50-49 on Tuesday to confirm Emil Bove to the Third U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, handing President Trump's former personal attorney a lifetime judicial appointment despite opposition fueled by multiple whistleblower complaints. All votes in favor came from Republicans, with Senators Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine breaking ranks to oppose the nomination. Those two are the worst. I'm not even going to get into the rest of this. But let me show you a couple comments from people having to do with what Trump said about Grassley. So Chad Program interviewed Grassley, and this is what was said. Last night, I was surprised to see President Trump on True Social go after me and Senate Republicans over what we call the blue slip. Now, to people in the real America, not here in Washington, D.C., an island surrounded by reality, the people in real America don't care about what the blue slip is. But in fact, it impacts the district judges who serve their communities and the U.S. attorneys who ensure law and order is enforced. I was offended by what the president said, and I'm disappointed that it would result in personal insults. Aww. Sad. He's offended. I like Grassley, though, for the most part. I mean, he's the one who's gotten like all of Trump's judicial stuff through for so long. He's been such a big ally in that. And then also the stuff he's had to do with declassification, I think, is even more interesting. This is what Tilla said, 100% behind Chair Grassley. I mean, the Democrats lit the candle on nuking the filibuster. If you remember back in the day, I don't want to be a party to destroy the things that really make us work together here, and it does. So I disagree with the president, completely agree with everything Senator Grassley said. And then Thune chimed in, says, I think the blue slip process is something that's been used for a long time by both sides, and neither side has violated its usage in the past. So my view on it is, and I'll happily hear what Senator Grassley and my colleagues have to say, but no, I don't think there's any strong interest in changing that up here. We used the blue slip process in South Dakota to get the first Republican judge confirmed in our state since the Reagan administration, if you can believe that. So it's, like I said, it's a process both sides have used. We used it when Biden was president to block some bad judges. I think there were 4 in the state of Missouri alone that were held through the blue slip process. But yeah, Trump is not getting much help trying to get like all of his judges through. There's a ton of nominations that need to be confirmed in the Senate and just hasn't happened yet. So curious to see how that's going to be resolved. And, was it kayfabe what Trump said about Grassley? Maybe. I don't know. Was it legit? I don't know. But either way, it's notable and drawing attention to a topic that needs addressing. There's a huge earthquake last night by Russia. A lot of tsunami watch in the evening. Actually, even last night, I thought this was pretty funny. I don't know if you guys saw this, but let me get it pulled up. The weather service, for a brief period of time, issued a tsunami threat to North Dakota. That was funny. Anyway. But yeah, Trump was posting about that. And then there's a couple of posts from today I want to get to. Let me show these quick. Hold for processing. Okay. So tomorrow, August 1st? Sorry, Friday, August 1st is the deadline for tariffs. Trump says the August 1st deadline is the August 1st deadline. It stands strong and will not be extended. A big day for America. And then shortly after that says August 1st, a great day for America. Then he talks about India a little bit. Remember, while India is our friend, we have over the years done relatively little business with them because their tariffs are far too high, among the highest in the world. And they have the most strenuous and obnoxious non-monetary trade barriers of any country. Also, they have always bought a vast majority of their military equipment from Russia and are Russia's largest buyer of energy, along with China, at a time when everyone wants Russia to stop the killing in Ukraine. All things not good. India will therefore be paying a tariff of 25% plus a penalty for the above starting on August 1st. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. Great stuff. And then follows that up with, we have a massive trade deficit with India. And then he posts about the GDP. Second quarter GDP just out 3%, way better than expected. Too late, referring to Powell, must now lower the rate. No inflation, let people buy and refinance their homes. And we are expecting Jerome Powell here at like 2 p.m. Eastern. So right at the end of the show, we should get an announcement from Powell on whether or not he is going to raise or lower or keep the rates the same. We shall see. But there is some interesting comments here from Besant about trade I want to point out.
I think that everyone can see the arc of where these trade deals are going. I won't say that the Chinese are on their heels because they're very composed. But Vice Premier Hu Lifeng is a seasoned politician. But it's clear that the momentum was with us. That when you get the EU, the world's largest trading bloc, when you get that deal inked, we had Japan, we had Indonesia, we had Vietnam. So not only did we have the EU, who has a very large trading relationship with China, we also had 3 of their neighbors. I think.
And on top of that, another interesting comment I want to point out from Russell Vought. So I think it was yesterday or the day before, he was on with, was it Tapper? I don't even remember. Yeah, Tapper. And he made some interesting comments, and it goes back to what me and Chris were talking about at the beginning of this month, back in, I think, the first DPH we did in July, like July 6th or something, July 5th, where we were talking about, okay, now that the big, beautiful bill is passed, how is Trump going to address the actual deficit? Because there was a lot of BS in that bill, right? And we were starting to talk about the impoundments, the Impoundment Control Act and rescissions. And this is the post I put out there, video. And then I found one of Trump's Agenda 47 videos talking about impoundments. And then last night, again, Russ Vought kind of confirmed what we had been talking about. And I thought this was notable.
I want to ask you about that in a second, but before I do, there are reports that you're considering using something called a pocket rescission, which is essentially allow the White House to run out the clock to sidestep Congress weighing in on additional spending cuts. Democrats say that's illegal. You can't do it. Is this a tool you're going to use?
It's very possible that we might use pocket rescissions. It's one of our executive tools. It's been used before. The General Accounting Office, which we're not a big fans of, has said it was legal in the 1970s. And now, so Congress has come along and said, hey, we have concerns with it. It is a fully legal approach to being able to use the Impoundment Control Act, another law we're not too big fans of, to use that to be able to send up a rescissions bill later in the year and be able to have it just evaporate at the end of the fiscal
So you
year.
said possible, but it sounded like you were about to say likely.
No, we're definitely looking at it. We're looking at all options. I've said on every one of these shows, nothing is taken off the table for us to be able to deal with the deficits.
So essentially, there's a rule within the Impoundment Control Act that if you put forth a rescission, Congress has 45 days to address it. And if they don't address it, then the spending continues. But if you do the rescission request within 45 days of the end of the fiscal year and it passes, like the fiscal year ends, so the 45 days, like it ends on the fiscal year, then the rescission is taken away. Like it's implemented and that you don't have to pay it out. And so that's what they're going to be using here. It's part of the Impoundment Control Act. And Tapper's right. He does say in here that he like hesitates, and it almost sounds like he says, yeah, we're likely to use that. And then he changes course, but he starts saying the word likely. Let me show you.
But is this a tool you're going to use?
It's very
hear that? It's very possible.
It's very possible that we might use.
He was almost going to say likely.
It's very possible that we might use pocket rescissions.
So yeah, we can expect pocket rescissions. I think the fiscal year ends, I want to say September. Let me look this up. When does... I think it's like September 30th, right? Yeah, September 30th. So within 45 days of that, which would bring us to like August 15th. So I bet we see a bunch of rescissions coming through in the middle of August, middle to end of August. And if Congress doesn't address them, then they're all going to fall off and evaporate, as Russ Vought said. I think it's brilliant. Update with the Ghislaine Maxwell. She has offered conditional testimony to Congress, but she's requesting immunity and clemency. Ghislaine Maxwell has offered to testify before Congress, but only under strict conditions, including full immunity, according to a letter sent by her attorneys to the House Oversight Committee. The letter also notes that she hopes to receive clemency from President Trump. The letter, obtained by CNN, comes in response to a subpoena issued by committee chair James Comer for Maxwell to testify next month. While her legal team initially planned to invoke her Fifth Amendment rights, they later proposed she may be willing to cooperate if a fair and safe path forward can be established. Among her demands are a formal grant of immunity, assurance that the interview not be conducted inside her prison, advance access to all questions, and a delay until her Supreme Court appeal and planned habeas petitions are resolved. Her attorneys warned that any testimony now could compromise her constitutional rights and taint a future jury pool. The letter also criticized members of Congress for allegedly prejudging Maxwell's credibility, stating such comments make cooperation more difficult. Spokesperson for the Oversight Committee confirmed Maxwell's offer is under review, but made clear the panel will not consider granting congressional immunity for her testimony. The letter concluded with a direct appeal for clemency from President Trump, stating that if granted, Maxwell would be willing and eager to testify openly and honestly in public before Congress in Washington, D.C. I don't like this part. Advanced access to all questions. I also don't want her to like get any leeway. Like, give her immunity, sure, while she testifies, but like don't let her out of prison. Like, don't pardon her and give her that kind of clemency to go free just for in exchange for this. Because if she's guilty for what she's in prison for, she should stay in prison. But why would she need advanced access to the questions? Because if you need that to me, that's like you're trying to plan out what you're going to say and make sure you can back it up. Like, I don't know. That seems a little fishy to me. The truth doesn't need advanced access to the questions. So that's the only weird part to me, but we'll see what happens. Coming around to like some more of the Grand Rico stuff. This is something I said on multiple shows over the last couple of weeks, and it's kind of cool that Congress is now addressing this too. Grassley Crawford urge FBI to review withheld evidence in the Clinton email probe. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley and House Intelligence Committee Chairman Rick Crawford have formally asked FBI Director Kash Patel to immediately review long-ignored evidence tied to Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server and mishandling of highly classified information during her time as Secretary of State. Now, they sent an actual letter. This is dated July 23rd. The story is just breaking up in the last like 24 hours or something. I'm going to read the letter. It's fairly short. As you are aware, this is Dear Director Patel, not me, Kash Patel. As you are aware, following years of covering up intelligence that runs contrary to the stories perpetuated as the so-called Russia collusion hoax, and with respect to the Hillary Clinton email mishandling investigation, the full scope of damage caused by partisan senior leaders and others in law enforcement and intelligence community in the years since the 2016 presidential election is finally coming to light. In pushing for additional transparency, the Senate Judiciary Committee sought and obtained the declassification of an appendix to the Department of Justice Office of Inspector General report on the 2016 election after years of effort. As you're aware, this report focused on the Comey FBI's mishandling of the Clinton investigation. And just keep in mind, I'm going to bring this up just so we have a clear view of what's going on here. There are multiple, this is my mind map that I got kind of going. There are multiple Inspector General reports. I might even be missing one here, but there's the actual mid-year exam, which is this one, okay? And the classified appendix that they put out is what he's referring to in that letter. There's also the Comey memos IG report. There's the review of the FISA applications IG report. But that's what he's referring to, is the mid-year exam, how they handled the email server scandal and everything in that investigation. The revelations containing the declassified OIG appendix are at the heart of why the Federal Bureau of Investigation became distrusted by so many under your agency's prior directors. A failure to impartially conduct its law enforcement and intelligence mission. Concerning the issue at hand, Comey's FBI shockingly failed to review and exploit evidence in its own possession. Even though they admitted in written memos the information was necessary, zoom in a little bit, to conduct a thorough and complete investigation, the FBI also failed to review and exploit other foreign intelligence information. A failed effort left the evidence unevaluated in FBI's custody inside Northern Virginia offshoot office of the FBI's Washington field office. Literally, an entire collection of data, including reports purporting to analyze or characterize intercepted U.S. communications and information concerning cyber intrusions into U.S. entities, were simply swept away into the dark confines of history. Until now, we refuse to allow this dereliction of duty to continue and trust that your leadership will immediately seek to rectify this oversight by prior DOJ and FBI leadership. Therefore, we now write to stress the importance that this material be immediately dug out from hiding and properly assessed. How evidence which purportedly includes information related to former President Barack Obama's emails and network infrastructure diagrams for U.S. government classified networks remained unreviewed by the preeminent law enforcement agency in the world is mind-numbing. We know you will not similarly ignore evidence in your agency's possession, no matter where its exploitation or conclusions might lead. If, in fact, the data in question has been evaluated since the release of the original OIG Annex in July of 2018, Congress is unaware of any analysis arising from such review. That would be a problem, as well as congressional oversight would have been hampered. That said, it appears that the vast majority of this data has never been reviewed by the FBI, so we look forward to receiving an update on forthcoming steps taken by the FBI to correct this historic investigative and national security failure. So, let me pull up. There's two things being referred to here. Actually, a couple things. I'm going to pull up just a couple things to show you what I found this morning that kind of sidetracked me for a while. So he's referring to this. Oh, where is it at? Yeah, this one. I already pointed this out. This is the appendix to the OIG report, right? And it's talking about the thumb drives that were never reviewed, which is insane. And we talked about this before on previous shows. Never reviewed it. Unbelievable. But what I found this morning, I think, is pretty damning. At least pretty interesting. Potentially damning. Okay, when they were going through the process of like determining how to address these thumb drives, a lot of people were they were like asserting privilege, executive and congressional privilege. An FBI office counsel lawyer told the OIG that there were concerns that exfiltrated victim data for EOP, Executive Office of the President, the State Department, and the House of Representatives may be subject to executive and congressional privileges. According to FBI witnesses and contemporaneous documents reviewed by the OIG, EOP officials raised privilege concerns with respect to certain U.S. victim data present on the thumb drives, precluding review by the FBI subject to limited exceptions as discussed below. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to read this one more time. And I found something I didn't find before. So I was reading through here and they're talking about, okay, well, we need to figure out how we're going to get access to this, if they're going to assert privilege. Our limited investigation into this issue revealed additional efforts to obtain access to all 8 thumb drives in redacted after the mid-year investigation concluded on July 5th. In particular, we identified an August 31st, 2016 memorandum from then Deputy Director Andrew McCabe to then Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates, requesting permission to review all 8 thumb drives for information related to attempts by the Russian government to influence the U.S. political process. We were told by FBI witnesses that this memorandum resulted in 2 separate meetings about this issue that included McCabe, Yates, and White House counsel W. Neil Eggleston, among others. So they wanted to go through these thumb drives. They sent a memo, and the memo led to a meeting with White House counsel Neil Eggleston. In the meeting was McCabe and Yates. The first meeting occurred on September 20th, 2016, and the second meeting occurred on October 20th, 2016. Those 2 dates are actually super duper important in terms of the flip side of this. Like this, what we're going through here now, the mid-year exam and this appendix, more so has to do with them burying the investigation into Hillary Clinton. The other investigation that was going on was fabricating an investigation into Trump. They were going on in conjunction. These 2 things were both going on kind of behind the scenes, but that was the same time frame. Okay. So September 20th, 2016, Obama's White House counsel, Eggleston, meets with Yates, McCabe, and other people at the FBI. The very next day, where'd I have this? Here we go. Just gotta zoom in on my mind map quick. September 21st, 2016. At the direction of Fusion GPS, Christopher Steele briefs the New York Times and all these other media places. And then 2 days after this, September 23rd, Michael Isikoff would write the first Russia collusion article for Yahoo News, the first reporting. The article cited a Western intelligence source later revealed to be Steele and focused on Trump advisor Carter Page's alleged connections with Russian officials. It was directly sourced from Steele's briefing to Isikoff and others from the September 21st meeting. So isn't that weird? Obama's White House counsel meets with the FBI, and then the very next day, Fusion GPS is reaching out to news agencies to start this is like narrative warfare, guys, to start creating that narrative that Trump is colluding with Russia. And he even said in the article, Steele told him in the meeting that he had provided his election reporting to the FBI and that there were people in the FBI taking this very seriously. And once the media started asking questions and reporting on this, they used the media's reporting as like verification of the intelligence, the wrap-up smear. And then they further perpetuated the hoax, the Russia collusion hoax. That's weird timing. Like I said, interesting timing in the most innocent way, damning in the worst way. Because another thing happens. Okay, let's go back to where was it? What was the other date? October 20th, 2016. Another meeting between Yates, McCabe, and White House General Counsel Neil Eggleston. The very next day is when they submit its initial Carter Page FISA application to the FIC. What are the odds? And it had to be approved by Sally Yates. Was Obama's White House counsel working with the FBI? Like, is that how they were doing things? Just like, you know, how Hillary Clinton used Perkins Coie to do all her dirty deeds with the Russia collusion hoax and the Steele reporting and all that stuff and the Alpha Bank hoax? Was the same thing happening with Obama through his White House counsel? Are there any other reported meetings of Eggleston meeting with the FBI to discuss privilege concerns? I don't know, but this is where I would look into if I was the strike force team. Because that is interesting. They've proven that they use this, you know, the attorney-client privilege or whatever to shield crimes. But if you can prove that crimes are committed by using the attorneys, then they break that privilege. That's a method they use. And the White House counsel, Neil Eggleston, was meeting with the FBI in both instances, both meetings. Major breaks in the Russia collusion narrative hoax, the hoax, whatever, are perpetuated. Anyway, how's the chat doing now? I went on a little rant there. I get excited about this stuff. We are expecting the next drop of documents here, like today. I think I have a video on that. Let me see if I can find it. Where did it go? Oh, let me just pull up a new Twitter link. This is my buddy Patriots in Control who posted it. Yeah, right here.
Is it your belief that the Durham Annex would show that FBI officials knew the Clinton campaign planned this all along?
Not only that, Sean, the Clinton Annex is going to show there was foreign intelligence. A foreign enemy had determined that the FBI had agreed to be the accelerant, that they were going to be conspirators joining with Hillary Clinton to give credence to her fake narrative. And that's exactly what happened. When people see what the foreign intelligence is and then how the FBI acted, it matches extremely closely. This is a bombshell Senator Grassley is going to release as early as tomorrow.
As early as tomorrow. And this was last night. So today, potentially today, we'll see. I'm excited, though. Very excited to get the rest of the declassified documents. You guys all know I'm excited. I do have this, too. I thought this was interesting. I don't know if I should play the whole thing because it's like 4 minutes long. But maybe I'll just read it. So there's this guy, Colonel Mills, I think his name is. Yeah, Colonel John Mills. And this is Jan Jakiliak or whatever is one posting it. I was brought into cyber in 2007 when the threat really was Russian cyber adventurism. But by 2012, it was all China. Wasn't even close. For every dollar Russia spent on misadventure, China spent 20. But he's talking about what happened with these IC assessments in this interview. And I'll just read it here to summarize it. 2 days after the election in 2016, I was called up on the NSA phone. The person said I had to be on the intelligence community assessment that was assembling to finalize the Russian narrative because we were going to prove that Trump was a Russian asset. We were going to delay or block the inauguration of Donald J. Trump for the first term. I just couldn't believe it. This is what I was told on the phone. So this was a deep state coup from the beginning that actually started in early 2016. We went through the process in November and December. The final product came out in the first few days of January 2017. But bottom line, in the supposed top secret review, there was nothing there to show Russia was trying to manipulate the campaign or the outcome of the election in favor of Donald J. Trump, that the Trump campaign was somehow colluding with Russia. There was no evidence of anything, says John Mills. He served as the Director for Cybersecurity Policy Strategy and International Affairs in the Office of the Secretary of Defense. Encourage you guys to check that out. E.H. Kyle, John, hopefully you get the annex before the DPH tonight. Yeah, if it comes out, I'm going to have to put my kids to bed early so I can have time to read through that. And then here's this. This is a bullshit story, but I feel like I have to read it. So the same girl, Brooke Singman, who posted, I think it was a story, was it yesterday? Who she was getting the dates wrong. I think it was yesterday. What did she reveal yesterday? Let me see if I can find. Oh, yeah, here. So she's the one who posted this. FBI's controversial Trump-Russia actions predicted with alarming specificity by foreign actors. And it's where she got this date wrong. This meeting was supposed to be August 3rd, not July 28th.
We begin this Sunday morning with a chance for justice.
Anyway, so this new article today, and I think it's BS. I'm going to read it here. Patel found thousands of sensitive Trump-Russia probe docs inside burn bags in secret room at FBI. So this is kind of a rerun of a story we already got that Trump found, or that Kash Patel found this like room hidden away at the FBI and was going through, and like there's a whole bunch of documents that were hidden. From the jump, I was like, that seems like a bogus story. I think they're just using that story as like the story for how they are, revealing these documents that they want to. But I think they had them the whole time. They wouldn't have walked away the bad guys wouldn't have left these, compromising documents that implicated them in crimes just sitting in a room in the White House and not at the FBI. They would have damaged it. They would have destroyed them. It just makes no logical sense. I think you want to talk about why Mar-a-Lago was raided? It was to get these documents. But the story we're being told is, they were just left in this empty room. Don't buy it for a second. But anyway, one of the things she says in here just made me almost spit out my coffee through my nose. FBI Director Kash Patel found a trove of sensitive documents related to the origins of Trump-Russia probe buried in multiple burn bags in a secret room inside the bureau. Again, old story. Sources told breaking news, though, exclusive. Breaking news exclusive. Same story from before. Sources told Fox News Digital that the burn bag system is used to destroy documents designated as classified or higher. Multiple burn bags were found and filled with thousands of documents. And this is the part that I was like, okay, bullshit. Sources told Fox News Digital that one of the documents FBI officials found in a burn bag was a classified annex to former special counsel John Durham's final report, which includes the underlying intelligence he reviewed. The declassification of the classified annex is being done in close coordination between all these agencies, and it will be transmitted to Grassley, who will release to the public. There is zero chance that the Durham report classified appendix, there's one copy. It wasn't on any computer anywhere. He used a fucking typewriter to type that thing up. So there's no copies of it anywhere except for the original. And it was just put in the burn bag. He presented this thing to Congress. You don't think he had to hand over the classified appendix there too? Give me a break. But when I saw that, I was like, okay, you're clearly just trying to drum up narrative excitement, or you're just grifting off the story. This is a rehash of a previous story. It's ridiculous. But so yeah, for a second I was like, oh, this Brooke lady, she seems all right. She's just a little misinformed on some things. And now it's like, okay, you have fallen to the status of Anna Polina Luna in my eyes, and that is not a place you want to be. Tell you what. Let's see. What else did I miss today? Let's see if we got any other stories. I know I do. I already said this. Economy grew at a rate of 3% in Q2, better than expected pace, even as Trump's tariffs hit. Even so, they're not expected to raise rates. Gross domestic product jumped 3% for the second quarter. Consumer spending rose 1.4% in the second quarter, better than 0.5% of the prior period. Exports declined 1.8% during the period. Imports fell 30.3%. Trump is demanding the Fed lowers rates. I doubt we're going to see it. I think they're going to keep them the same. I would be surprised if they did lower it. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is an interesting story. I think I saw Chris Pavlovsky post about this, but Trump said they were going to do this. I'm pretty sure the Trump administration said they're going to sanction this guy, but here it is. U.S. sanctions Brazilian judge targeted by Trump over Bolsonaro case. The U.S. Treasury Department imposed sanctions on Brazilian Supreme Court Federal Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes, the Voldemort of Brazil. Yeah, so it's no surprise. I think they said they're going to sanction these people until they change their speech laws or whatever. So we'll see how long it takes for them to turn things around. Ooh, this is interesting. Should we watch this? Effing fight. Dems face off an epic verbal spat on the Senate floor. Do they have videos? Oh, here we go. Nice.
Stop scrolling and pay attention. Go to your kitchen, grab pink salt, lemon.
The best exercise and the number one exercise I have for my pelvic floor patients, pelvic floor dysfunction.
It's a call, folks.
I was wondering what exercise she has for pelvic floor patients.
It's a call, folks. The Democratic Party needs a wake-up call. I see law firms bending a knee to this president, not caring about the larger principles, that those free speech rights, that you can take on any client, why are you bending the knee? I see universities that should be bastions of free speech bending at the knee to this president. I see businesses taking late-night talk show hosts off the air because they dare to insult a president. I see people who want mergers suddenly think that they have to pay tribute to this president. And what are the very people here elected to defend the Constitution of the United States saying, oh, well, today, let's look the other way and pass some resources that won't go to Connecticut, that won't go to Illinois, that won't go to New York, that will go to the states he likes. That is complicity with an authoritarian leader who is trashing our Constitution. It's time for Democrats to have a backbone. It's time for us to fight. It's time for us to draw lines. And when it comes to the safety of my state being denied these grants, that's why I'm standing here. Don't question my integrity. Don't question my motives. I'm standing for Jersey. I am standing for my police officers. I'm standing for the Constitution, and I'm standing for what's right. And
what do you think his motives are here? I think we should question that. Oh, no, don't do that.
dear God, if you want to come at me that way, you're going to have to take it up with me, because there's too much on the line right now in America. As people's due process rights and freedom of the speech rights and secret police are running around this country, picking people up off the streets who have a legal right to be here. There's too much going on in this country. When are we going to stand together for principles that I just heard that we're agreed with? When are we going to stand together? If we don't stand as Democrats, we deserve to lose.
Yes, you do.
But if we stand united, if we stand strong, if we stand with other people, if we tell with a chorus of conviction in America what this president is doing is wrong, if we stand up and speak that way, dear God, we will win. Like all of those people that are ancestors who joined hands together and said, we shall overcome. No, not on my watch. I'm protecting Jersey today. I'm protecting our Constitution today.
Okay. Okay, bro. This is Congress is just social media influencers. This is all they do. They scream and whine and yell and post it online, and that's all that people care about. So stupid. Already got that one. Already got that one. I did the pocket rescissions, right? Yeah, I did that. Man, I kind of already burned through a bunch of my stories. Oh, Netanyahu's approval among Americans plunges to record low. Crazy. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's favorability among Americans plunged to a record low in a new poll released Tuesday. Newsweek reached out to Netanyahu's office for comment via email. Bet they didn't respond. Wonder why people would get upset, though. You know, getting us into the war, controlling all our government. Lots of questions you could ask about that. There was this yesterday. Ghost had some interesting takes on a few things. Let's see if I can find it. I'd encourage you to watch his show and follow him at Ghost of BPH, because very interesting to say the least. He does a great job covering this stuff. The Arabs just signed a declaration with France and other European countries demanding that Hamas surrender to the Palestinian Authority and allow the Palestinian government to assume control of Gaza before it is annexed by Israel. The Zionists will say this is awful because their plan all along, of course, was to kill everybody in Gaza and take their land for Israel. That's why October 7th was allowed to happen. And then here's another post. Let me find it. Showing that the Trump administration officials didn't even attend this meeting. Right here. Yep. Two things. How foolish do you think Marco Rubio and Tammy Bruce feel right now? While Daddy was away in Scotland, Rubio Tammy took it upon themselves to skip this two-state confab because they said it was a PR stunt designed to subvert the peace process. It was announced on December 3rd, 2024. Now the U.S. missed the opportunity to sign onto this document that is demanding that Hamas surrender to the Palestinian Authority. The best part is that they waited until after Tammy Bruce's press briefing this afternoon to announce it, so she went on camera and attacked the conference on record. And here's that clip.
The UN is serving as host to an unproductive and ill-timed conference on the so-called two-state solution in New York City. This is a publicity stunt that comes in the middle of delicate diplomatic efforts to end the conflict in Gaza. Far from promoting peace, the conference will prolong the war, will embolden Hamas, and reward its obstruction and undermine real-world efforts to achieve real peace. As Secretary Rubio has made clear, this effort is a slap in the face to the victims of October 7th and a reward for terrorism. It keeps hostages trapped in tunnels. The United States will not participate in this insult, but will continue to lead real-world efforts to end the fighting and deliver a permanent peace. Our focus remains on serious diplomacy, not stage-managed conferences designed to manufacture the appearance of relevance. Also, the United States welcomes the ceasefire declaration announced yesterday between Cambodia and Thailand.
Great catch by Gordon. Anyway, guys, that may be all the stuff I have, so I can chat with you guys for a little bit if you want. See if there's anything new online. Is there new? Is there new Epstein footage? I think I saw that the FBI allegedly found, the DOJ found the rest of the Epstein footage, like the missing 1 minute or whatever. Yeah, anyway. I don't think that's what it was. Yeah, what do you guys want me to talk about for a couple minutes? Anything in particular? You guys get your GART tickets yet? If you haven't, we're doing our next exclusive ticket holder live stream tomorrow, right after the show, 2 p.m. Eastern. So I encourage you to get your tickets. Q of Swords 3. John, do you watch Alpha and Josh? I did not. I've seen some of their first episode, but I didn't watch last night anyway. Why, was it any good? Black Hat Destroyer. John, did you see the new X post I tagged you in about a new document that dropped last night? Can you DM it to me? Check it out. The Bunny says, GART first timers, reach out to me. Yeah, if you guys haven't yet and you're attending GART for the first time, make sure you reach out to the Bunny. And yeah, on Telegram. What's your handle on Telegram, Bunny? She's doing the first time meetup thing. Tommy Russell. John, will you ever come back to New England? I had knee surgery the first week of April and could not come. Maybe eventually. Mr. Rise Attire. I wonder if John has seen that thread from Emerald Robinson, how they stopped the steal in 2024. I have not. Okay, here's the link to what Black Hat Destroyer was talking about. Let's check it out. Memorandum in support of motion. When was this filed? Filed yesterday. Okay, so this is just the government. Yeah, the government is just basically siding with the people to release the grand jury transcripts, I'm assuming. As the court recognized, the Second Circuit has held that there are certain circumstances in which the release of grand jury records is appropriate. On July 25th, the court directed the government to file a memorandum of law addressing with specificity these and any other factors that the government views as germane to its application. The court also directed the government to state whether, before filing the instant motion, counsel for the government reviewed the Maxwell grand jury transcripts and whether the government provided notice to the victims of the motion to unseal, and to submit indices of Epstein and Maxwell grand jury materials, including a brief summary, number of pages, all these things. The court directed the government to address all those things, and they go through and list all the things that they said they would do. Second factor asks whether the defendant or the government opposes public disclosure. Say it doesn't matter. Let me see if I can get the conclusion here. The government is submitting these materials ex parte and under seal as they relate to grand jury proceedings and include information related to victims, including but not limited to the victim identifying information of individuals who neither testified at trial or were subject to the testimony at trial. The government underscores that it takes very seriously its obligation to protect victim-related information and therefore believes the proposed redactions not only are appropriate but necessary to protect those rights. So they're just following court orders. Like when the court, when they said they want these things redacted or released, right? The grand jury transcripts. The court said, okay, well, first you have to like tell me what you're actually wanting to be put out there and tell me if both sides are in agreement and like who are the people that would be revealed, what are the redactions, all these things. This is the government coming in and being like, okay, here's all us following the checklist you provided in order to potentially get these grand jury transcripts published. We don't know for sure if we're going to get them or not, but this is just like the next legal step. The court could have just came out straight and said no, like they did in Florida. They didn't do that here. At least they're like working it, but it doesn't mean we're going to get anything. Anyway, anything else you guys got? The thread is pinned to her ex. Thank you, Miss Rise Attire. Let's check that out. It's time to explain exactly what happened on Election Day 2024 to stop the steal. This will be a very long thread. I don't like very long threads. it's quite a few people over 4 years, dozen sources. Okay, I might have to read this in my free time. I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'm going to get down to the 2024. Yeah, I will read this, Miss Rizatar, but I'm not going to do it right now. But I appreciate you sending that over. We have a couple rants. We got Film Pro Joe for $5. Oh, I know who this guy is. Helping with the metrics, listening while I shower, John. Why do you always schedule your show when I have to get cleaned up? This guy was in Vegas, and when I was doing the live streams, I can't remember if it was the Friday night or the Thursday night live stream from Gart. He comes up, he's like, yeah, man, I watch you when I'm naked. It's like, what? He's like, yeah, I listen to you every day while I'm in the shower. I just thought it was hilarious. I'll never forget that guy for the worst of reasons. But thank you, Film Pro Joe. Appreciate that. Tiny Boy says, working hard today and showed up late. It's clear this is a digging show that I'll have to listen from the beginning. Love the digs. Great work. Thanks, man. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple weeks at Gart. He'll be there. We'll probably dig into this a little bit more. So I might have some more time this afternoon to dig further. But on the Power Hour with Burning Bright. So make sure you guys tune in tonight. And then Bat Quarter says, what if the docs they thought Trump had were actually hidden in burn bags right under their stupid noses? Just a thought. I mean, that is one way to look at it, but it's just looking at it from both sides here. If you're the good guys like Trump's DOJ, the Kash Patels of the world, Ezra Cohen Watnick's, John Ratcliffe's, whoever you think is part of the bigger white hat plan going on behind the scenes. If you're them and you uncover and have all this information, you are not going to leave that there when you're implementing the evolution and walking away and just allow the bad guys in there to get the information and potentially destroy it. Like, that is a risk that they would not take. And on the flip side of that, if they did do that and you're the bad guys and you come in, you're also not going to just leave that stuff in there that implicates you in all these crimes and all your wrongdoings and allow the good guys to come back in and use that. Like, neither side would allow those documents to exist in that FBI building as they were outgoing, which is why, to me, it makes the most sense logically. And again, this is just speculation. So I don't know with any level of certainty. It's possible the media and the people, the TV characters, as Chris Paul would say, are telling us the truth. It's possible that this is a real story, the real way it happened. But logically, it just makes no sense. It makes more sense that somebody on Trump's side took the documents when they left, and it's the entire reason that they did the Mar-a-Lago raid is because they went fishing for these documents that they thought he somehow kept at Mar-a-Lago, which doesn't make sense either. And that instead of them just finding them in a closet in burn bags, that actually they had them the whole time. And that's just the story they're using to disclose the stuff. Like, that makes the most logical sense to me. Neither side would allow those things to exist at the FBI over fear of A, the other side destroying them, or the flip side of it, B, the good guys using it. So it just doesn't make sense. But all right. That's all I got. So hit that thumbs up, everybody. Let me see if there's any live streams going on Badlands right now. Oh, President Trump is signing a bill. If that's live, I could probably send you over there. But yeah, otherwise, hit the thumbs up. I'll see you tonight on the Power Hour, and then I'll see you back again tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Daily Herald. Get your Gart virtual tickets. We're doing another live stream tomorrow, exclusive to ticket holders. You don't want to miss out. And in fact, I'm going to play our Gart promo before I play our outro. So get your tickets, guys.
Coming August 14th to 17th, Badlands Media returns to Deadwood, South Dakota for the 9th stop of the Great American Restoration Tour. Come for family, friends, fun, and a f***ing good time. Hear truth bombs that hit harder than B2s on an Iran nuke site from Burning Bright, Chris Paul, CanCon, Red Pill 78, Brad Nabby, Ash, Ghost, Jordan Sather, John Herold, whoever that is, and more. Plus, Alpha might make you a sandwich. Deadwood is a gorgeous town in the middle of the Black Hills of South Dakota. If you've never been, you need to see it. Plus, you might be lucky lucky enough to witness some terrible karaoke from your favorite Badlanders. Go to badlandsmedia.tv/events for weekend or one-day tickets. And if you can't make it in person, virtual tickets are available too. Watch from the comfort of your couch with tons of behind-the-scenes content and get access to an exclusive GART chat. That's badlandsmedia.tv/events. Be there or be there online. It'll be recorded.
0. 1. Extra, extra, read all about it. 2. 3. Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me? Stopping me.